Churchgoer bitten by snake during service dies after refusing medical treatment.
Ebola outbreak officially over in DR Congo.
Weekend burst of exercise can be enough to stay fit.
Mother drowns her 3 children in a murder-suicide following husband's suicide.
Churchgoer bitten by snake during service dies after refusing medical treatment. A man died after being bitten by a snake during a church service and refusing to be seen by doctors. Worshipper John David Brock was injured when the snake sunk its teeth into his arm while he was handling it at a service in Jensen, Kentucky. According to the Bell County Sheriff's Office, the 60-year-old chose not to seek medical attention after being bitten at the small town's Mossy Simpson Pentecostal Church, instead going to his brother's home, where he died from the injury. Mr. Brock was a holiness believer who had worked as a coal miner for over half of his life for 36 years, according to an obituary. Snake handling is a common practice at church services in some denominations, particularly in the southern Appalachian states. Pastors are thought to use the creatures to demonstrate how God protects Christians from harm, and worshippers hold them high while singing and dancing. The tradition is based on a passage in the Gospel of Mark that claims believers can pick up serpents without fear of harm. This has previously sparked debate, particularly in light of similar recent deaths caused by snake bites.
Ebola outbreak officially over in DR Congo. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the latest Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo was contained in 3 months thanks to a swift and robust response. Since the outbreak, the country's 14th since 1976, was declared in April in the western city of Mbandaka. 4 people have died. According to the World Health Organization, 3 of those who died were confirmed cases, and 1 was a probable case. The WHO will continue to monitor the situation in case of flare-ups, but it praised Congolese authorities in a statement. The UN agency collaborated with the government to implement vaccinations, testing, contact tracing, infection prevention and control, and community engagement.
Weekend burst of exercise can be enough to stay fit. A big burst of exercise at the weekend is just as good as spreading activity out over the week, according to a study. Over a 10-year period, U.S. researchers tracked 350,000 people to see how well so-called weekend warriors fared. The findings, published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine, suggest that the type and total amount of exercise matter more than the number of sessions. A minimum of 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week is recommended. A brisk walk, a light effort cycle on a bike, or playing doubles tennis would all count. Alternatively, you could engage in 75 minutes of vigorous activity, such as running, swimming, or playing a game of football, according to UK NHS guidelines.
Mother drowns her 3 children in a murder-suicide following husband's suicide. According to sheriff's investigators, a mother and her 3 children whose bodies were discovered in a Minnesota lake over the weekend died in a murder-suicide, and their deaths appear to have followed the suicide of the children's father. Police and firefighters were called to the Maplewood neighborhood of St. Paul on Friday after a woman, identified as 23-year-old Molly Cheng, reported that her husband had shot himself. According to a news release from the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, the man was later identified as Yi Lee, 27, and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. According to the news release, police arranged for social workers to assist Cheng and her children, but that afternoon a relative called 911 and said Cheng was going to kill her children and herself. Cheng's cell phone was tracked to Vadnais Sucker Lake Park in Vadnais Heights, just north of St. Paul, by Maplewood police. Deputies discovered Cheng's car in a parking lot, as well as several pairs of children's shoes and the car keys on the lake's shore. According to the news release, first responders immediately began a search in the water and on land. One of the 3 children, a 4-year-old, was discovered in the lake that evening, and his cause of death was determined to be drowning and smothering, according to the medical examiner. A 5-year-old boy was discovered in the lake shortly after midnight, and the cause of death was listed as drowning in a news release. When investigators resumed their search on Saturday, they discovered the mother's body, and her death was ruled a suicide by drowning. Several hours later, they discovered the body of the third child, a 3-year-old. The medical examiner determined the child died as a result of drowning and suffocation, according to the news release. According to the sheriff's office, the children's deaths were classified as homicides.
For your daily global health news, visit www.staywellworld.org. Please do well to subscribe, like, share, and comment. If you already subscribed, turn on the notification icon so you don't miss any updates. Thank you for watching.